Thanks for downloading another segment from the Best of the Classic Metal Show. The Classic Metal Show is heard live on Saturdays from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern, exclusively at www.theclassicmetalshow.com. And now here's another piece of Classic Metal Show history on the Best of the Classic Metal Show.
The Classic Metal Show.
Classic Metal Show studio, you're on the air.
Well, it's about time. You know, I've been sitting out in front of your house.
Again? Jesus Christ.
For an hour. Why do you guys do this to me?
Well, Scott, was there plans that you would be here tonight or what?
Well, you know, I couldn't get in at Chris's house. His wife wouldn't let me in. And I've seen pizza go into your house.
Well, I kept wondering why the security lights kept coming on and why the Dobermans were out there barking.
Well, I gave the Dobermans some Reese's peanut butter cups, so they're kind of quieting it down just a little bit.
What I want to know is,
did you steer them in a special place, Scott, so that they would come up and give you a nice little lick?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, how did I give that away?
Well, I want to know, Scott, how did you even get past the security guard at the front gate?
He's asleep.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll be having a word with our security guy now.
Yeah, Gomer.
Gomer?
No, that's
Gomer, the security pile. Oh, no, that's Barney.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, you retired from the morning show on the Rocket.
Yes, I did. Yesterday was my last day, so you going to hang up on me now?
No need to hang up on you. You know, here's a guy that exiled himself off the radio to work behind the scenes. So why would I want to hang up on you?
You guys love hitting that hang up button. I know that.
Only if it's merited.
Especially when I'm trying to get in on your show.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, I did. I retired yesterday for a while. I don't know if you'd really call it retiring, though. I think it's more like expanding my horizons.
Well, when you have 0 listeners, does anybody notice?
If the stream is down, is anybody listening?
That's what I'm asking you.
Yeah.
I hear you, man. Well, dude, honestly, how was it? How was the atmosphere going in? I know, probably not you as much because you don't care, but I'm sure Anita was not real thrilled to be being forced off the air by you.
Oh no, it was a mutual decision. It was something we both wanted to do. I mean, Chris, you know what I'm up to. You know, I'm taking advantage of engineering opportunities. Plus, I want to go up to Maryland, you know, and meet little Mikey and his dad.
You want to make the trip to Maryland just to meet Mikey and his dad?
Well, I want to make some money too.
Well, that's
of course
right.
And I'm going to be, you know, working on some concert promotions in the Ohio Valley, as they say.
Oh, yeah? Who are you going to bring in?
You already know who I'm going to bring in, but do you want me to say it again?
Hey, Scott, it's called radio. I do the setup so that you can share your big news. That's how it works. I ask you a question that I know the answer to. That way you can come back and say, well, guess who we're bringing in? We're bringing in blah.
We're bringing in Nazareth and Foghat.
Well, which Foghat? The real Foghat or that fake band that you talked about on the show this week?
Well, which one is real?
Well, I would say the one that's currently touring as Foghat with Roger Earl, even though he is the only original member in that band.
Tony Stevens is not an original member?
Now listen to what I'm saying.
Tony Stevens didn't come with Lonesome Dave from Savoy Brown to form Foghat?
That's my point. My point is that Tony Stevens has been out of the circuit for how many years now? 30 years? And now all of a sudden he wants to come back and be part of Foghat or have a version of Foghat.
You're not doing your research.
I know he was part of the reunion back in the late 90s and into early 2000. before.
He was a founding member of Foghat.
I know Scott, but he basically left the band back in the 70s.
Well, the entire band disbanded, and then they came back together in the 90s. He was with them clear through, 1999 or 1998 when Lonesome Dave died?
Right. Well, when I worked at a club out in California, we had both Dave...
Well, there you go. You were drunk all the time.
No. We had Dave Peverett's Lonesome Dave Peverett's Foghat. Then there was the other Foghat with the Roger Earl version. And finally they patched up their differences and, got back together. But here's a story, and I'm going to tell tales about a dead man. You want to hear? You want to hear a story, and this is a true story?
Well, we'll see how true it is.
Well, it is true. We brought in Lonesome Dave Peverett's Foghat.
Yeah.
Original guitarist, probably one of the most famous members of the band.
True.
Comes to the club. We set up. We get the sound company in there, which cost a bunch of money, and get everything up to their specifications for this club.
Yeah.
It holds 400.
Do their back line the whole bit.
Yeah, 450 people. Just prior to them going on, they refused to go on, and only will go on for an additional $2,500.
Why?
They were trying to hold the club owner hostage for additional cash.
After he had signed a contract
Already
with them?
After they signed the contract, they said, well, we're not going to go out. It's going to cost you an additional $2,500. So the club owner held the line and said, okay, we don't need you. I'll just refund everybody's ticket. And he went on anyway. So he didn't buckle. He just said, okay, fine. We won't have a show tonight then.
Well, that's a dead man's tale.
Well,
I have
Scott,
no idea.
Hey, Scott, hold on,
Scott.
Scott.
True or not?
Hey.
Yeah. You're not talking to
as
Joe Dirt here.
As far as the Tony Stevens version of Foghat goes, I'm helping you and probably going to make some cash off of this deal, right?
Right.
That is the real Foghat, Neeley. You're just completely wrong.
It really is the real Foghat. You know that drummer. What's his name?
Roger Earl.
The current Foghat.
Yeah, Roger Earl.
Yeah, Roger Earl. According to Tony Stevens, who's had an ongoing lawsuit going against him for many, many years, whenever they did the reunion, the other guy was supposed to copyright the name in the name of the band, but he put it in his own name. And there has been probably $250,000 in legal fees on both sides fighting this, and it has just been recently settled.
Okay.
In favor of Tony Stevens.
Okay.
And Tony Stevens is an original founding member of Foghat. They broke up in the late 70s. They came back together as a reunion group. They settled their differences. Everybody came back together in the late 90s. And then Lonesome Dave died. And then the other guy fell down the stairs and died. And that just left Roger and Tony Stevens. And Roger, went out, legally or illegally, I don't know. Do I look like a criminal attorney? You don't even know what I look like. And, represented himself as Foghat.
Right. Well, Foghat has got to be one of the most boring bands I've ever seen.
Oh, my God.
I saw them, well, of course I had, both versions of the band at the club I worked at. And then I just saw...
The one where you were drunk all the time?
Well, no, I didn't even drink then at all.
Oh, what'd you do?
I didn't do anything. I just managed the club.
Oh, okay.
And then I just saw them 2 summers ago here at a county fair, and they did their whole set and everybody just kind of sat there in their chairs until they finally played their 3 top radio hits, and then they got into it. So I was under the impression that if they came to a club or a show, played Slow Ride, I Want to Make Love to You, and Fool for the City, people would be totally satisfied with that.
And get up and go home.
Pretty much.
Well, as long as they pay their entrance fees, I don't care.
Right. Well, we had Charlie
Hune.
Charlie Hune, the current singer of Roger Earl's Foghat, on the show.
Right.
And very nice guy. He sang with Ted Nugent. He sang with another band called Victory.
Yes.
And he's a metal guy.
That's right.
And very friendly too. And he was very open and honest about everything. We busted him on their tour rider because it was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
They acted like they were kings or something.
I just saw him about a month ago at a casino here in Oklahoma.
Right.
And they do a very good job for a cover band.
Let's not get away from metal.
Yeah, they raised the roof. People liked them.
Well, I think that Charlie Hune has a very Dave Peverett style.
Like Brian Howe running around saying he's bad company.
Yeah, that's ridiculous because he wasn't even part of the. It would be like Charlie Hune going around as Foghat.
It'd be like Scott and Anita saying that they're Chris and Neeley.
Well, that's going a little too far, Scott.
All right. So now that you've busted my chops on Foghat, what are you going to say about Nazareth?
Well, here's the other one last thing about the Foghat. Of course, I'm always interested in what you and the Rocket are doing and et cetera. But when I see all these bulletins out on the MySpace saying that you're going to make international news and this is going to be huge, and then I hear it's just Tony Stevens putting together a version of Foghat, I go, what the fuck?
Over.
I thought it was huge news myself, Scott. I'm in your corner here.
I know. And I was told it was huge news, too. I mean, we broke that news, that he had won the lawsuit and that he was going to be Foghat. And hopefully somewhere down the line, maybe they can bury the hatchet and get back together. And now that would be really big news.
Why would that even be really big news? Would that really be big news? Honest.
Nah, not to me.
But
I like Tony Stevens. He's a nice guy.
You know what Roger Earl said when he got that lawsuit paper in the mail from Tony Stevens, don't you?
No.
You little son of a bitch.
Well, Tony said that he would be willing to bury the axe if Roger would stand up against a tree.
Asshole.
Yeah. All right, now let's tear apart Nazareth.
Well, there's nothing wrong with Nazareth because 2/4 of the band are together. Peter Agnew and what's his first name? Caffrey.
Hey, can you send some pizza outside for me while we have this conversation?
Is it Chris Caffrey?
It's kind of cold up here.
Oh God, that's great.
So, what's his first name? His last name? Dan Cafferty.
Yeah.
Well, I met and hung out with Nazareth back in 98, 99 when they released their Boogaloo release, and their drummer, Daryl Sweet, was just the friendliest guy you'd ever know. Peter Agnew, their bassist, great guy. Dan Cafferty, all of them great guys, Well, 3 weeks later, Daryl Sweet died of a heart attack prior to their show just outside of Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Damn.
But two of the 4 members of Nazareth are together, and I believe Pete Agnew's son is now on drums, so it's sort of a legacy type thing.
Okay. So what do you think about this Led Zeppelin that's going around now with Steven Tyler?
Well, they're not out there touring actively or even doing anything. Tyler just flew over to England and just played with them. They just, they were just jamming. That's all there is to that.
Oh, so that's okay?
They're not performing or playing together.
If they go out as Led Zeppelin, it's not okay. No. They can't tour as Led Zeppelin.
Why are you busting my chops on this?
Because you're dealing with us.
Yeah.
Hold on, Scott.
Just send me some pizza outside, okay?
Are you saying that they should be able to tour as Led Zeppelin with Steven Tyler?
No, I'm not, because if Robert Plant was dead, maybe, yeah, they could tour as Led Zeppelin.
Oh, dude, come on.
Clint?
But he's not dead. He's just lazy.
He's not lazy. He's been out on tour all year.
Yeah, well, then he's rich.
Well,
Rich people can do whatever they want.
How cool is
I can tell that. I can tell that. I'm outside Neely's house right now.
I'm going to let loose the dogs there, Scott, so don't get out of the car.
No, I've got more Reese's peanut butter cups.
Well, all right, Scott, your people are telling us that you got to go.
How about Black Oak? How about Black Oak, Arkansas?
Well, see,
I know you probably hate them.
Well, we don't hate them, but there's only one guy in that band.
Who?
That Jim Dandy guy.
There's only one guy?
I believe so.
What about Ricky Lee Reynolds?
I don't know. Who's Rick?
I mean, those guys went to prison together. You know that's how they met, don't you? They all met in prison. You know what they were doing?
Each other?
No. Well, I don't. Maybe. They were ripping off soda pop machines.
Okay, and they went to prison for that?
Yeah. They were tossing them in the Mississippi River after they scarfed all the nickels and dimes out of them.
Man, you are
But
who
else am I going to bring? I don't know.
Who else?
I don't know. Chris, you and I talked about some other groups. Some I don't want to say because I don't want to be torn to pieces over it.
Well, here's another question.
I mean, seriously, Scott, let's just I mean, all kidding aside, you were talking about this big package with Nazareth and Foghat and
Black Oak, Arkansas.
Black Oak all coming together. And, you and I talked about finding a room. What size room do you think we ought to find?
Between 2,000 and 4,000 seats. Because we're talking about, a reunion tour. I mean, it's like, the Glenn Miller band playing in the 60s. They were hot, 20 years before.
Right.
It isn't like I can bring in Kid Rock or somebody that's going to bring in, 25,000 people somewhere in an arena or an outdoor festival. Not unless I can get Neeley to, cough up some money and get in on it.
Shove it in your
Everybody
ass.
knows he's rich.
Shove it in your ass.
Jeez, that's not nice.
That wasn't nice at all. I can't believe it. Drive 1,200 miles, and you won't even pass me any pizza out the window. Here I've been a good supporter of the Classic Metal Show and tried to be good friends. And Chris's wife won't let me in the house. Neeley won't answer the door. And I know you're not wearing headphones all the time.
Well,
why do you do me the way you do?
You're right, dude. I mean, obviously, dude, we do consider you to be one of our better friends, both in the industry and just as a guy. And I mean, I guess the obvious question that we want to get out there to the fans tonight is, what's next for you since you're not going to be on the air anymore, man? I mean, what are you going to be doing so that and where can people find out about you?
Do you really want to know?
Yeah, man.
All right. I am a broadcast engineer.
Wow. You just love that shit, don't you?
Every time it's funny.
Every time. Scott, we love you, man, but holy shit.
2,000 to 4,000 for Foghat.
Yikes. Tony Richards. Who?
Tony Stevens.
Whatever his name is.
Don't be messing with my Foghat gig.
And what are you going to do for him?
I'm helping out. I'm helping get the room arranged.
All right.
I'm close to having the queue booked.
Well, you're a player.
Quicken Loans Arena for Foghat.
Right. That's funny. Thanks for checking out the Best of the Classic Metal Show. You can tune into the Classic Metal Show live every Saturday night from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern, exclusively at www.theclassicmetalshow.com.
The Classic Metal Show.